So I did this intro just so you all can get just a little bit of background or information before we get into this video. But like I said, I manifested my second rainbow baby. Andres is my first rainbow baby. Elijah is my second. I manifested him by believing in what the Lord had to say, by trusting in his word and his time, and knowing that his time is the perfect time and it is the only time that truly matters. That despite any obstacles that we went through, that I was going to get my rainbow baby at the end. And that's pretty much what manifestation is all about. It's about your trusting and your believing in what is to be. That's my understanding. But that's indeed what I did. So along with seeking medical attention and medical help, get the ball rolling, I also did my manifestation daily, weekly, monthly. Even after I conceived, I continued manifesting, because my pregnancy, as wonderful as it also was very scary. Mainly because I had miscarried so many times in the past that I never was able to just be comfortable and be assured that my baby was coming. I literally walked on eggshells for majority. I'm gonna say all of my pregnancy, I walked on eggshells, because even though I could feel him moving, I went to multiple ultrasounds, because since I was high risk because of my age and I guess obesity, I had to do the scans that come along once you get further along. I can't remember the name of them, but basically where they monitor his movement and stuff like that for like 30 minutes or something every week, as well as do a ultrasound. So I had plenty of ultrasounds. I would see him on the ultrasound all the time, always doing something crazy, which that speaks volume now. I would always hear his heartbeat, but would hold my breath until I heard his heartbeat. That's how far on eggshells I walk. I am going to stop right here, and I'm going to ask that if you are not already subscribed, please go ahead and make sure that you subscribe down below and hit the bell notification so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Elijah is screaming, hit a like for his mama. So go ahead and like this video, just because you like that I'm opening up to you all. I'm pouring my heart out to you all. And also comment down below if you believe in manifestation. If you believe that the things that you put out there, or the things that you ask for, or create in your mind to say that you already have, that it shall be, then go ahead and comment down below. So July 1st, 2020, in the middle of a pandemic, we were preparing to go out of town, and had just miscarried in March of 2020 after getting the green light from our doctor to go ahead and start trying again, because we were on a pause for about a year or so, year and a half of trying, just so that we can do lots of different testing and things like that, just to see what was going on, so that we wouldn't have to go through what we had already went through in the past. But unfortunately, I had miscarried in March of 2020. So July 1st of 2020, we were getting ready to go out of town, I think like the next day or something. I had to take a test, because I knew that it was going to be the 4th of July weekend. I wanted to party. I wanted to kick it. I was going to be having lots of drinks and having a good time. A good time. That was my intention. So I wanted to be 100% sure that I was not pregnant, so that I wouldn't feel guilty about doing anything or having a good time. Now, was I thinking that I was pregnant? I was not, because this particular time I had gotten no real signs of pregnancy. Usually I would get the different little signs, you know, like the cramping, the implantation, bleeding a little bit, or cramping, or even like tingly breasts, things like that. TMI for those, but this is what this video is about. So if you clicked on it, that's what you're gonna get. I had no signs of pregnancy, but like I said, I wanted to have a clear mind before we went out of town of what to expect. And so I took the test. I didn't tell Terrence. I didn't say anything to anybody, because like I said, I wasn't expecting to be pregnant. So I took the test, and I'm sitting there, and I don't know what made me take a digital test, because usually I just take the little strip test and, you know, just go about my day, because like I said, I wasn't really expecting anything. And so I'm sitting there, and I don't know what told me to record it. Again, sometimes God just speaks to me, and that's what I'm gonna say. but because I don't really do that much or whatever. Especially back then, I wasn't, because I wasn't on YouTube. I wasn't trying to be on YouTube or anything like that. So I don't know what made me record it, but I did. And so I'm sitting there, and for some reason my hand is shaking, and you'll see it in the video. My hand is literally shaking, and I'm trying to understand why I'm so nervous. Why do I feel the way that I feel? And then it pops up, pregnant. For one, it was upside down, but I was able to read the fact that it said pregnant. It didn't say not. And I'm like, wait a minute. That says pregnant. Wait a minute. Literally, the night before we're going out of town, I found out I'm pregnant. And I was so happy and emotional, but that emotion of happiness simply turned into scariness, because I instantly thought about, I'm getting ready to do a 10-hour drive, 12-hour drive, freshly pregnant, scared as hell. What am I going to do? I still wanted to go on my trip because I wanted to be with my family, because we hadn't seen each other in so long. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pray about it, and I'm going to roll with it, because I've been praying all this time. You know, if it's meant to be, it's going to be. So, I had to tell Terrence that night. I had to, because of course I told him. I did not tell my mother. I did not tell anyone else except for my sissy, Nakaya. She was the only one, other than Terrence. She was the only one that knew what was going on. And the reason why I told her is because I knew for a fact that she pays attention to everything. And I needed someone else to help me disguise if I wasn't drinking or, you know, doing anything like that. If I wasn't being extra, I needed somebody to help me disguise the fact that I wasn't, because I didn't want to tell anybody. Because of our past, there's no need to tell anybody. It's way too early. I didn't know how far along I was or anything like that. Hell, I didn't even know if the baby would actually stick. However, I was trusting in God that he or she would stick. But I definitely didn't know if they would. So, we got prepared for our road trip. We went from Chicago to Memphis first. We went from Chicago to Tennessee first, because at the time that's where Kaya lived. So we stayed there for a couple of hours. I think we stayed there for a couple of hours, I think, maybe. That way I was able to rest. I won't lie to you. When I got to her house, I took another test. That's test number 2. Needed to see those lines again. I wasn't going to take a digital again, because I seen that, but I needed to see the lines, and I needed to see how dark they were. Oh, matter of fact, that was test number 3, because after I took the pregnant test, then I took a strip test, because I wanted to see how dark the lines were. And the test line was stronger than the control line. It was darker than the control line. So I was like, okay, that's a good thing. That's a good thing, you know? So I rolled with it. And so we went to Tennessee, stayed there for a couple of hours, got to Mississippi. My mother was already there. So now I'm like, you know, super nervous, because I'm like, I don't want to tell her right now, because I know how she is. She's going to be super excited, and I would hate for something to happen, and then she has to be upset again. So didn't tell her anything. But I kid you not, we were in Mississippi at least 5 days. I took a test every morning that I woke up, and I just needed to see the lines, because I needed to believe. So that probably was test number 4 through 10 or something. I don't know. I know I took a lot of tests, and I kind of wish I would have took pictures of it, but like I said, I wasn't thinking about that back then. I was not thinking about that. All I could think of was getting back home. As much as I had a good time, in the back of my mind, all I could think was making it home safely, so that I can get to the doctor, so that they can do the blood work to see where my levels was at. That's where my mind was at. Like, I had an amazing time the whole entire 4th of July weekend. Nobody knew anything. After a while, when people found out, then they were saying,
oh, you know, I knew you were pregnant. I knew something was off.
No, you didn't. You didn't know anything, because everybody assumed that I was drinking. Everybody assumed that I was, you know, cocktailing and doing this and doing that. But I wasn't. Sober as a... Hey, baby. I was sober, and I had a good time. So by the time we made it home, I had made an appointment to get blood work done. But here was the kicker. I had to get my mother to take me to the doctor's office to get the blood work done, in order to know what's going on. Because again, I don't drive, and Terrence had to go back to work. So I got her to take me or whatever. She didn't think nothing of it or whatever. However, once they draw your blood once, then they want to draw your blood again 48 hours afterwards to see where your levels are, if they're growing or rising or whatever. So I got the results back from the first test or whatever. Things look good, but that's just the initial numbers. So then 48 hours later, I had to ask my mom to take me to the doctor again. So now she's looking crazy or whatever, because she's just trying to figure out why do I need to go to the doctor twice or whatever. But she still ain't really say much or whatever. And I'm sorry, y'all. He's talking to himself or doing whatever he's doing. So I'm gonna try and keep going without it. Go back to do the second test, and I have to wait a few hours or whatever. And I snuck on the little app or whatever when I seen that it was test results in. Even though Terrence asked me not to, I snuck on there and I seen the results, and they had grown, and I actually think they had doubled or something, or tripled or something to that nature. And I was happy. Then they said, okay, now we need to do it again just to verify, and we want to get you in for a dating scan. And I'm like, okay, that means I got to do an ultrasound. But that also means I need to say something to my mom. So I didn't say anything to her, even though she was looking really crazy or whatever. Like, why is she going to the doctor yet again? Going to the doctor to do the dating scan. And I pretty much had knew where my numbers were, because I was tracking my ovulation. No, I wasn't. Was I tracking my ovulation? I kind of think I was. I was tracking my ovulation. And I also was tracking like my periods and stuff like that. So I kind of knew if I was pregnant, if it was sticking, then I kind of knew where the numbers were. But I just needed to see it for myself. I needed to see that everything was there and everything was what it was supposed to be. Because I've been in that situation before where I went to an ultrasound for a dating scan, and I would get there and they would find nothing, or they would find parts of what they're supposed to find, but then everything else wouldn't be there. You know, like the fetal pole and the sac and all the rest of it. I literally needed to see it for myself. And so we went in, I got the lab work done, then we went in for the ultrasound. And again, I kid you not, I held my breath the whole time, because they said we were going to try and look for a heartbeat. And I had never heard the heartbeat since Andreas. And again, I told you, Elijah's number 9. So Andreas is number 4. So that's your reference. Andreas is number 4. Elijah is number 9. And so since number 4, I had never heard a heartbeat when I went to the ultrasounds, or even if I even made it to the ultrasounds. I was holding my breath, emotional. So then she got the number. Oh, I see a heartbeat. She's like, I don't know if we're going to be able to hear it. We'll try and see. And so I guess she turned on the little mic or hear his heartbeat. Just as strong as it wanted to be, and at a decent pace and everything like that. And I literally bawled. I hyperventilated, because I could not believe that I was actually pregnant. On top of the fact that I was actually pregnant, he had a heartbeat. It was strong. Everything that was supposed to be there was there. Everything. And literally, the tech had to comfort me, because like I was literally hyperventilating, like seriously. Remind you, my mother's in the car and she knows nothing whatsoever. So I looked at Terrence and told him, and I sent him the pictures, and I sent him the recording of the heartbeat. I don't know if I still have it or not, but I sent him the picture, the little picture of our little peanut, and I had to pull myself together. And so I was able to pull myself together enough to make it out the building without having a heart attack. And I get in the car, and my mom's like, is everything okay? You know, we've been here a couple days or whatever, because by this time now she's a little worried. So I'm like, yeah, everything is fine or whatever. The doctor just gave me this or whatever. And I think I gave her the ultrasound or whatever. She instantly just started bawling. And try not to get emotional. She instantly started bawling, because my mother at that time, she had been wanting another grandchild. She wanted me to have another child so bad. In a dream world, she wanted a little girl. And I can't lie, I kind of wanted a little girl too. However, I wanted what God wanted for me at the end of the day. But as time went on, we kind of thought that it was a girl. It proved us wrong. And I begged her not to say anything to anybody because, because of our past, that made me nervous. I didn't want to say anything. And I definitely didn't want everybody else to know when Andreas did not know. And I definitely had no intentions on telling Andreas yet because I wanted to be for sure. So I kind of wanted to get in those safety months, which, to be honest, nowadays, or thinking back, there's no real such thing as safety days or safety months, because even after you get past those 12 weeks, anything can happen, and we've had that happen before. So there's no guarantees in anything. And I just felt like I didn't want to tell him until after a couple months had passed and we had seen how things went. And so that's what I did. That's what I did. It was kind of hard trying to have my pregnancy from Andreas because we were in the house. We were stuck in the house because it was 2020, so we were in a pandemic. However, with anybody else, it wasn't that hard because, like I said, I wasn't seeing many people except for Labor Day. Labor Day, my aunt had an outside function for the family. Of course, they had the protocols for the pandemic or whatever. So everybody had on masks and things like that or whatever. And we're kind of distancing because she has a pretty big backyard and front yard and stuff like that. But yeah, real life, y'all, real life. But this is who we're talking about, so he might as well interrupt the video. So she had a Labor Day party. And I was so nervous. I'm like, because I didn't want to tell anybody because it was still early. But I'm like, am I going to be able to have this? People going to be wondering why I'm not doing this. So, of course, this would be the year that my aunt decided to have an obstacle course. And this is my dad and my husband going at it at the obstacle course. And that's what I couldn't do. So, I had to stay out of the way. Why am I doing that? What's going on with this? Yada, yada, yada. But I successfully pulled it off. I found something comfortable there. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to insert the picture because I haven't learned how to insert the pictures in these videos to where you can see the full body picture. But I was able to pull it off. So going back to Andrea. So the day that thank you, baby. The day that I told Andreas, like the 12-week scan or something to that nature, where you could see the baby full on, and I'll insert the video. You can see the baby. He was bouncing around, moving around, stuff like that. And so I had to tell Andreas because with the pandemic going on, he got scared. And he thought that something was wrong. Like he thought I was sick because I would be sick. Some days or whatever. I was laying around most days and not doing much. And Andreas is a worrier, and he's always been concerned. So he was really worried. So I had no other choice but to tell him. And so he was shocked, and he had several questions, some on camera, some off. But he was happy. A little bit confused, but he was happy. Again, you'll hear him say that he wants it to be a girl so that we can be even since we are a family of 4. However, that didn't happen. It was like one of the happiest days. Even though I was terrified afterwards, I was happy because I wasn't keeping secrets from my son. I try to be as honest with him as I can be with certain situations. So I was able to let him know, and it was our family secret because, again, still no one really knew. So it still was our family secret. And he enjoyed that, having that secret. But he couldn't wait to be able to tell his cousins and whomever else, his friends, or his associates or classmates or whatever. But he had to. So how do you feel knowing?
I don't really know. Are you recording?
Yes.
Why?
So I can have memories.
I don't really know.
Are you happy? Are you sad?
Curious.
Curious? Okay. What are you curious about?
Hold on. Don't look.
Give it to him.
Father.
Now you have to tell me, Dre. Open it up. What the? What's wrong with everybody? Give it here. Oh my God. Okay. It's the boy.
Let's continue driving now.
Great.
So eventually we end up telling everybody that we were pregnant. That's when you see the little t-shirt that says another Wade in the water, because that's our last name, Wade. So it was a cute play on words, I thought. And at that time we did not know whether it was a boy or girl, or either we weren't telling people that which one it was. I'm not 100% sure. I think when I got the shirt made, I got it for the announcement, but I also got it again as manifestation, as an affirmation to myself, affirming that this baby was coming, that he was going to be born, he was going to be alive and well, and he was going to wear his shirt, which he did, and he still does. He still squeezes in it to this day. No, wait. No, he don't squeeze it in now, but he did for a long time. And of course, you have all the people who said that they knew already, and Elisha, please. And all those people that say that they knew already, and of course they did not, because I made sure that they did not. For the most part, everyone seemed to be happy, considering the fact that, like I said, Elijah and Andreas are 14 years apart. Elijah and Andreas are 14 years apart. So that means that people have been asking me for the last 14 years,
when you gonna have a baby? When you gonna give him a sibling? When you gonna do this? When you gonna do that? Blah, 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 blah.
I would always tell them the same thing: when God says so. That was always my answer anytime that anybody asked me anything. And he's rocking me. So if I'm rocking, that's because he's rocking on me. Answer was when God said so. God said so. So it was always on his timing. And so I'll insert pictures throughout the pregnancy or whatever. Stopped seeing the specialist at about 16 weeks or 20 weeks, something around that time or whatever, where they just passed me on to a regular OB, which I was nervous as hell because nobody was really monitoring. But then again, they started doing the monitoring of his heart and stuff like that. My doctor was amazing, the one that I end up keeping at the end, because of everything that was going on in the world. Much like others who were pregnant at the same time, I ended up having a virtual baby shower. But it was a little spin on it because I didn't go live or anything like that. I'm not a live girl. Not like that, at least not now. But I did record everything, and I took lots of pictures so that it could be for my memories, but also to be able to thank people properly via social media for the gifts that they did send us. We decorated. We had a beautiful cake. My hubby bought me flowers, very beautiful and very different. We had an amazing time, and we had our baby shower in February, February 20 to be exact. And I did that because I kind of wanted to wait as much time as I could. I had my baby shower February 20th, 2021. Have time to get my house together and slowly start preparing for a baby, which he was supposed to be due in March. Elijah was due March 10th, I believe. However, since I was going to have a C-section, he was supposed to be delivered on March 3rd. Now, I'm going to rewind that for you guys. My baby shower was February 22nd. Elijah's due date was March 10th. He was supposed to be delivered on March 3rd. I started having contractions on February 21st after joking about it. Yeah, I jinxed myself because I started joking about it. And Elijah was born February 22nd, 2021 at 2 p.m. So, 2 days after my baby shower, I had Elijah. No joke. Yeah.